And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Saturday morning edition of New Distributor Training. My name's Fred Holmes. I'm an independent distributor with Zija and transitioning to our merger with Isagenix. Excited to be the trainer this morning. I have a lot of things for you this morning. I want to, get you warmed up, get your pen ready, get your journal out, start taking some notes. Special welcome to those of you that are brand new distributors. If this is your first Saturday morning new distributor training, I want to kind of dispel some myths here. We don't do the same thing on Saturday mornings. Okay, this is new distributor training, but we go through a variety of different things, myself and other members of the training team, to try and share with you every single Saturday morning something new to help you build your business, to develop yourself, to help you achieve the goals that you have for your home-based business. There are a few things that I encourage you, especially if you're relatively new to us. I encourage you to review certain trainings that we've done on the that we've got posted on the YouTube channel. I want you to go to www.youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. I'm going to put that in the chat box for you. www.youtube.com/Fred, let's make sure the D's in there, Holmes Zija. Now, when you get to that YouTube channel, you'll find all of the presentations we do are archived there. Our Thursday evening Biz Talks presentations, presentations on the business. Our Saturday morning new distributor trainings will be posted there. But in particular, I want you to look at the playlist tab. Now, that playlist tab is going to have 4 videos, and they're a couple of years old now. I'm going to be updating them here when we make our transition to Isagenix, so I can make sure that we are, using the right nomenclature and so on. But you're going to find those 4 little videos. I encourage you to go, make that your first stop, all right? Those are kind of the foundational information that you want to launch your Zija business, to be able to start, to have a foundation to build on. Because much of what we're going to be speaking about today and every Saturday morning builds upon the information in those 4 videos. So that first one's 30 minutes long. It's called New Distributor Training. That's kind of a compilation of everything that I've learned in 35 years of being, in or around this profession of network marketing, home-based business, multi-level marketing, which is actually the term I prefer because it more accurately describes what we really do. So I encourage you to get that. That's the foundational stuff. It's actually built upon my very first new distributor training that I attended 35 plus years ago now, when I started to learn the basic concepts, the fundamentals of how to build a network marketing distributorship. Now, you'll find on that playlist there'll be 3 more videos, and they're about 10 minutes apiece, so another 30 minutes. Total, if you were to watch all 4 videos all at the same time, 60 minutes. Now, those the following 3 little 10-minute videos, they're what I call the fast start training. How to create a prospect list, but do it the way the professionals do. How to develop your personal story. And the concept of a 90-day game plan. 90-day game plan to get off to a fast start, to establish momentum in your business. Frankly, one of the critical things, if you're looking for an easier path to success, the first 90 days to get off to a fast start is actually easier than getting off to a slow start. So I encourage you to go there, take in that information. Every Saturday morning, myself or one of the other trainers will be sharing with you on a specific topic, a concept, something to help continue that process of growing. And I want to be real clear about this. A lot of people don't get this. It is not possible to become an overnight success in our profession. Okay, just like it's not possible to be an overnight success in anything. Professional, carpenters, they had to start somewhere and develop skills and knowledge and get experience. you know, doctors and lawyers. They had to go through many, many years of education. And then, you know, even, you know, doctors had to go through residency. So they were, you know, doctors on paper, but then they had to actually get some experience. Same thing with lawyers. Most lawyers, you know, they graduate from law school and then they get a position in a law firm to, you know, in a you know, a lower level position to, so they can learn and get experience and move to the higher levels. It takes time to become a professional at anything. And so give yourself that time. This profession in network marketing is one of the greatest vehicles in the world to achieve whatever goals you have. And for most people that enter this type of business with an eye towards creating income, you know, it's an income goal. But quite frankly, it's not the goal of money that's going to get you where you're going. It's the concept of developing yourself. We've seen people come into our type of business and they appear to be overnight successes. And I have to tell you that anybody who joins a network marketing company and becomes that spectacular fast start story, you know, the fast run to diamond or whatever, I guarantee you there was something in their life prior to this profession that prepared them for this profession. And it has nothing to do with no understanding what we do in network marketing. It had everything to do with them becoming more than they were when they started. Okay, driving a truck. You know, I remember, you know, my first trucking job. I got really good at running produce from the Santa Maria Valley down to the LA Market District. Was the same route every single day, same deliveries. You know, well, a range of deliveries. And I got really good at that. And it wasn't until I broke out of that small, you know, job into other things I started to realize, you know, I was a year into driving trucks before I was actually competent to drive a truck. I've been doing it for a year, but it wasn't until that time that I was actually getting to the point where I was actually becoming competent to drive, because I was experiencing the roads, the routes, the traffic patterns, you know, the grading of the roads and so on one route. The minute I changed to a different route, all of a sudden everything was different. You know, I had to become good at, adjusting to the changes in the terrain, the grades of the road, the traffic patterns, and what have you. So give yourself some space to grow into what it is that you want to become. Now, today what I'm going to be doing, I want to review for a moment our topics from last week, because it's so important that you get, you know, firmly grounded in these fundamental concepts of what we do. I want to talk about our marketing systems. And when I say a marketing system, I'm not talking about the pay plan, but how we market our products and build a distributorship. And then I want to, you know, kind of wrap things up with a continuation of the last topic from last week, which is the most important topic. You know, for those of you that were with us last Saturday, I talked about, you know, the how we do our business is not nearly as important as the why we do our business. If why is important enough, how always works itself out. So kind of just touching for a moment back on the first topic of last week. And folks, if you didn't see last week's new distributor training, go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Fred Holmes Zija. It'll be right there. It'll be probably the second video up there, because we had last Saturday and we have a Thursday, this past Thursday's training. So probably the second one up there. But you'll see it, they're all dated, right? Whatever the date was of last Saturday. I encourage you to go back and review that, all right? I think that'll be of value to you. We talked about the story. Now, the story becomes your most important tool, all right? A lot of people think that, you know, this type of business needs special skill sets, ability to do presentations, you know, have an outgoing personality, whatever it is you think is the magic to being successful in our type of business. Your story is the number one tool. Now, there's going to be a few different stories you're going to learn, and you want to get good at sharing these stories. You're going to want to learn, you know, the company story, right? You're going to want to learn the product story. The most valuable story is going to be your story. One of the training videos on the playlist that I mentioned that I encourage you to review is how to develop your story. And it's very important that you get that down. And folks, don't for 1 second think you don't have a story. Everybody has a story. An awful lot of your story is who you are, what you're doing, and why you chose to do this. And so you don't have to be in. But, you know, a moment once you made a decision to become a Zija distributor and start building a business, you already have a story. My story, I was a cross-country truck driver, desperately looking for a way to create a you know, substantially above average income to provide for the educational needs of my son as he was entering school age. And I needed to have a way to develop more time freedom to be with him. That was part of my story, and that story happened the day I made a decision to start my first network marketing business. Hadn't earned any money yet, didn't know anything about what I was doing, could barely spell the name of the company, but I already had a story. The story was who I was and my motivation to get involved. And then the elements of your story will start to grow as you grow in your business. But it is real important, and I just want to kind of, the reason I'm reviewing this is I want to re-emphasize how important it is for you to develop your story, because the story cannot be, people cannot object to your story. They can't find fault in your story. They can't tell you your story is wrong or it doesn't work or what have you, because it's your story. All right. I never debate with people whether or not my products are great products and do great things. I simply share my story. Before I started using these health and wellness products, I weighed almost 200 pounds. You know, was starting to feel pretty old, to be honest with you. And today, I'm almost 40 pounds lighter than I was. I weigh what I did in my mid-20s, and I feel more energized and you know, healthy and vibrant than I did decades ago in my 40s. That's my story. You can argue about the products and the ingredients and, you know, well, it has this in it or something, whatever. You know, I don't even get involved in that kind of stuff. I just share my story, because you can't argue with the story, and you can't say the story isn't true, because it's my story. So get well grounded in the development of your story. That'll be your #1 tool. Now, today I want to talk a little bit about marketing systems. And here I'm talking more about you know, how we market our products. I'm not talking about the pay plan. You know, there's been a lot of questions, you know, about, you know, well, what's going to happen when we transition, you know, in a couple of months to the Isagenix pay plan. Folks, first things first, okay? You're going to make a lot more money with the compensation plan in Isagenix. It'll be simpler to make more money, all right? And that one you can take to the bank, all right? That's just, I mean, I am a numbers guy, right? You know, I've been around this arena of network marketing for decades. I've actually, in the 3 companies that I've been in, I've experienced all 3 of the major, you know, iterations of the multi-level marketing and compensation plans. My very first company was a unilevel company. My second company was a step breakaway pay plan. Zija became a hybrid binary compensation plan. So I've experienced all 3. I'm going to tell you right now, this concept of a hybrid binary, that is the best way to get paid in our type of business. I've analyzed the differences between the Zija plan and the Isagenix pay plan. You're going to make a whole lot more money. I mean, that's just it. That's the bottom line. You're going to make a lot more money for doing the very same thing. Now, are there things that you need to know about? You know, are there things that you want to focus on as you're structuring and building your business? Yeah, but they're not that big a deal. They're not that complicated. Here's what I do know. You put enough volume through any compensation plan, you're going to make money, okay? So don't worry too much about the details of that. Focus more on the front end, which is what I call the marketing systems. How do you create customers? How do you create distributors? And how do you, you know, build that organization so that you have enough volume coming through it so that you can reap the financial rewards of the pay plan. That's more important, okay? Just like, you know, why you do your business is more important than how you do your business. And for those of you that are, you know, just getting started, all I can tell you is that, you know, right now, do like I did 35 years ago. When I was driving trucks, I knew how to drive trucks. I was really good at that, okay? It was not easy for somebody to, you know, I told a story recently to one of my friends about, you know, a distant family friend. A young fella had invested $2,500 in the Truckmaster School of Driving, the full program, right? And this goes back to the 80s when $2,500, that was a lot of money. And he couldn't get a job. And so, you know, his girlfriend's mother was my mom's friend, called me and asked me to help him, you know, get a job. I said, well, sure, I'll take him on a run. We'll see what he's got. Kid didn't know anything. He had the training, but he had no experience. And the book learning didn't teach him how to do what you do in the real life of a truck driver. Okay. I mean, that's just the way it is. So what I'm trying to share with you is, you know, don't take previous experience and what have you and think that these are the things you need to know. Listen to experienced people in the network marketing industry, and everybody who's been down this path as long as I have, has made the kind of monies that I've made, they're going to be telling you the same thing. Don't worry about how to do it. Focus on why. Why is important enough. How always works itself out. Okay. Don't worry about the details of the compensation plan. Learn how to put volume through. And so I want to talk for a few minutes about this concept of a marketing system. A system that creates volume through people purchasing our products as customers, purchasing products, you know, to become a distributor. That's where everything starts. And I want to give you a, you know, kind of a frame of reference here, and you should write this in your notes. Concepts versus techniques. Okay, concepts versus techniques. Now, the concepts is what I have majored in. Okay, and again, you know, I was smart enough as a truck driver 35 years ago to realize I didn't know anything about network marketing. I was fortunate enough that my first sponsor, my very first company, was already $1 million earner. So what was obvious was that he knew what to do. So rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to reinvent the wheel by doing something different that I knew nothing about, what I simply did was took the direction, the guidance of somebody who clearly did know what to do, and I didn't question that. Okay, simple little example. The young fella that, the distant family friend wanted some help in getting a trucking job. First thing I saw him do when I let him jump in the in the driver's seat and take off, he started double clutching every single gear. That was a red flag right there, because when you're driving big trucks, you only use the clutch once. Well, twice. Once when you're at a stop and you get started, you let the clutch out in the first gear you're going to drive off in. After that, you don't use the clutch. Okay, you shift the gears without the clutch, and then of course you use the clutch again when you finally come to a dead stop, right? It's, you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. All right, and so when I was first learning how to drive trucks, I didn't know how to drive big trucks. And when the guy was teaching me, Morris, the yard guy, he said, "This is how you do it." And I said, "Okay." And so I tried to model what he was doing. This is what I'm encouraging you to do. Okay, don't worry so much about whether it makes sense or not in the beginning. Trust the people that know how to do this, because I guarantee you that's the way that we create income, is by teaching others everything we know, no secrets, and not sending you down the wrong path. So concepts versus techniques. I was always taught the concepts. And the reason I focused on developing my skills in learning the concepts, doing the concepts, teaching the concepts, is because of this phrase. You need to put this in your notes. Duplication is the key to success. Duplication is the key to success. And I'll give you, I'll give you several illustrations here. How do you build up your distributor base? How do you develop customers? How do you develop distributors? How do you teach them to do the same? That's the secret of new distributor training. There are only 3 things we do. We share our products, number 1. Number 2, we share our income opportunity for those that are looking for ways to create additional income. And then number 3, we teach others to do the same. We share our products, we share our opportunity, and we teach others to do the same. Now, if you think about that, that's exactly what it is that we need to be doing. Okay, we share our products. We share our products to develop customers. We share our income opportunity. We do that to develop distributors. And then we take those people, customers and distributors, and teach them how to do what we do, which then creates additional volume that goes well beyond what we could personally do on our own. That's it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. Those are the concepts. Now, let's talk about techniques, because this is where most people will fail in their network marketing business, because they will be following people that are teaching techniques. Now, many different ways to develop a customer and a distributor. How about, home parties? Is that a great way to do it? Is that a technique that works well? Sure it does. And it works well for, a percentage of the people. Doesn't work well for everybody. Now, I want you to think about this for a minute. If that was the only technique that you were using to build your business, what would you do with a distributor, somebody that just joined your business, wants to be, one of your team members and do this at a very high level, but they're brand new in the area. They just moved from, Iowa, and they don't know anybody in the area that they're in now. How can they have a home party? Who are they going to invite? They don't have anybody that lives near them. Now, there's a technique that isn't really going to work for them. Or how about somebody who maybe either doesn't have a home that's suitable for inviting a lot of people to, or they don't feel that their home is suitable for inviting a lot of people to, or maybe they live out in the country and their nearest neighbors is a mile away, and the town that most of the people would come from is 20 minutes away, and in the last 5 miles you have to get out of your car and get on the horse to get there, right? Whatever. That's a technique on how to build your business, doing it with home parties, that will work for some, but it won't work for all. And when I hear somebody saying, this is how we do our business, we're going to get a launch going for you, we'll get you off to a fast start, we're going to book a home party. That may work well for some, but it won't work well for all. And if you make that methodology, that technique, all there is, then you have failed on the most important thing, which is this concept of duplication creates success. Okay, duplication is the key to success. Social media, another technique for generating new customers, new distributors. Anything wrong with that? No. Okay. Problem is, what do you do with the person that's technology phobic? They're stretching the outside of their of their limit of technology to be able to do an email or log into their back office. That's a problem, isn't it? Build your business one-on-one presentations, meet somebody for lunch. That's great. Work, is that a way to do it? Sure. Does that work good? Sure it does. Is that universally available to everybody? No. What do you do with a guy like me that is basically bound to the home? Some of you don't know the story. I have my soon-to-be 94-year-old mother. We've been dealing with dementia issues for a number of years now, and frankly, I don't go anywhere. Okay, I don't go anywhere. I spend a fortune to have people in the home with me so that I can do a training like I'm doing right now. But I'm you know, 12 feet on the other side of that door from mom in case something happens. I got somebody there to keep an eye on her and help her if she needs it. But if there's something really bad happens, I'm right here and I'm going to stop the training. And some of you remember that's happened before, right? I pay a lot of money so that, 3 days a week, I can leave the house for a couple hours and go to the gym. That's the only places I go. So how can I do one-on-one meetings to build my business unless I have people come to my home? And I'm not going to do that because that's way too disruptive in mom's world, right? These are techniques, but if your focus is on teaching techniques, you're missing the big picture on duplication. Email blasts, attraction marketing, lead generation techniques with, capture pages and funnel, chains and all these things. In today's world, the basic concepts, the foundational core principles of creating success in this incredible, entrepreneurial activity of building a home-based business have been lost. I mean, they've fragmented because of all these techniques. And it's because people have lost track of the value of the fundamentals, the core principles, the core philosophies. And I want to point out something else here. And please, don't for 1 second think I'm bragging now, because I am not. I'm just trying to make an illustration. In the Zija world, okay, I've become one of the top earners in this company, and I have never once done a home party, recruited anybody from social media. I've done a few one-on-one presentations, over the years, meeting somebody for coffee. That's pretty much come to an end over the last couple of years. Never done an email blast. I can now spell attraction marketing, but I've never done anything of that, okay? I did it one time, pay a fortune, and I'm embarrassed to tell you how much I paid for a marketing team to set up a website for me. Actually, it was a website. All I needed was a website where people could go to and click a link to be added to my email list to automate the email. Because at that time I was, I had hundreds of people on an email list and I was having to do that all by myself. That's all I needed. And that turned out from what I thought would be $100, $200, $300 to, I don't want to tell you how much I spent over, almost 2 years. Never got one lead from all of that stuff. Funnel pages, lead generation, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so is it necessary to have a home party to be successful in our business? The answer is no. I've never, in 3 companies in 35 years, from the time I started to today, I've never done a home party, not once. No, I've done a lot of home parties for other people, okay? And I've done a lot of home parties sitting right here in my office and zooming in, via a webinar or, a video conference to somebody else's home party. Now, is that a good thing to do? Absolutely. Should you be teaching that as the technique for success? Absolutely not. All right. I've become very good at a lot of things that I don't do because what my focus has always been is in these core concepts. Share the product. How do you share the product? However you can. Share the income opportunity. How do you do that? However you can. And teach others to do the same. How do you do that? My suggestion is don't. Let somebody else do it. Okay? If you're a brand new distributor, teach others to do what you're doing, one by example, but leading them to things like today. Bring them to, a Saturday morning new distributor training. Bring them to a local, distributor meeting at a, Saturday morning at a hotel with an out-of-town guest, okay? Other leaders do these kinds of things. It's better to be the traffic director, driving, your new distributor to a resource than it is to be the resource, okay? Just trust me on that. Question is, why are you doing it, Fred? Because I can. Okay, I've got decades of tenure, millions of dollars of documented income. And so today I can, but I guarantee you that's not how I got here. I got here by doing the things that I'm teaching you to do. So one last thing on duplication, folks. This is one of the things that made the most sense to me when I first joined this type of business. If you do a little, you can make some money. Okay, if you do a little bit more, you can make more money. And if you keep on doing it for a prolonged period of time, you could get rich. And if you just do the math, I'm not worrying about, my brand new distributor getting 10,000 or, I guess my organization, I think, is like 14,000 people on auto ship. Imagine that, 14,000 people on auto ship. Some of you thinking, dang, no wonder he makes so much money. Yeah, how'd that happen? I didn't go out and get 14,000 customers. I started with 2 people. And this is what I'm going to encourage those of you that are at the beginning of your journey. Don't worry about how are you going to make it to, consultant and, crystal this and crystal that. Don't worry about that stuff. Okay. It's not an issue. Here's what you need to know. It's inevitable. If you can get 2 people that want to use your product, get them on the product, get them good product results. If they are successful on your products, they will help you find 2 other people each that'll want to use the products. That I know. Now, those 2 other people that are using the products now become 4 people on your second level that are buying the product every single month. Those 4 people, help them go find 2 customers. I'm not talking distributors here. I'm just talking customers. Help those people find 2 other friends that want to get the results that they're getting. And I guarantee you help 2 people, one on each side of your business. Help them lose 5 or 10 or 15 pounds. They're going to start looking good. They're going to be feeling better. Their friends are going to be saying, hey, what are you doing? We'd like it. Because, think about it. Do any of you know people that want to lose some weight? Seriously, what a silly question. It's like, do any of you know people that are still breathing? Now, you help those first 2 people find 2 people that they can get on these products, and then take that group of people and help them find 2 each, just 2. And you do it again. And by the time you get down to that 4th level, do the math. 2 times 2, you got 2 on your first level, times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16 people on the 4th level. But if you add them all up, it's 30 people. 30 people getting results on the product. And all you have to master is asking a question. Do you know anybody that would like to lose some weight, feel great, and look better? And how often are you going to have to say that to people to find somebody who says, I would? I always change that. I said, do you know anybody who would? And the answer is, I don't know if anybody else wants to. I do. If you do the math, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 30. Okay. I'll try and edit that, right? 30. 30, right? 30 people. Out of those 30 people, here's what I can guarantee you. It's the concept of the 80-20 rule. Okay. If you don't know that, 80% of the productivity is done by 20% of the people. 80-20 rule. Out of those 30 people, 20% of them are going to want to do your business because they'll be getting results in the product. They're going to see other people that they've brought in that, referred to you or what have you. They're going to want to do the business. And out of those 6 people that want to do the business, the 80-20 rule applies there as well. The top 20% of the top 20%, they're the ones that do the deal. Okay, just like, if you look at strictly income, right? 80% of our population in the United States is earning $60,000 a year or less. To be in the top 20%, you gotta be, that top 20%. Those are the ones that are making, the 80, 100,000 a year, and the top 20 of the top 20%. Those are the multiple six-figure earners. It's called life. It's called just being human beings. That's how it is. Okay, you can try and redistribute wealth, but it's all going to go back to the top 20% of the top 20% in a relatively short period of time, because that's called human nature. You can't change that. Now, I'm not talking politics. Yes, I am. If you simply focused on those basic concepts, go find 2 people and help them change their health and their wellness, and keep duplicating that. You'll have 30 people on the product. You're going to be making some money, but what else is going to happen is a natural byproduct that a percentage of those people are going to want to do the business, and a small percentage of them are going to do it in a big way. And so the question that seems pretty obvious is, why doesn't everybody make lots of money in our business? And it goes back to the 80-20 rule, okay? 80% of the people will not be willing to go through the numbers long enough to find the people they're looking for. Does it always work out perfectly like that? You get 2, they get 2, they get 2, they get 2, you got 30 customers? No, it never works out perfect like that. Some will get 3, some won't get any, okay? Some will start using your product and a day later they'll quit. That's called life. But if you stick with it long enough, you'll eventually get 2 people that'll stay with it, that'll get you 2, and they'll eventually have people, if they keep doing it, that'll get 2. Much of that responsibility is your leadership. Will, once you get those 6 people out of 30, will always be 6 people out of 30 want to do the business? No. Depending upon the group you start with, you might get 1 that wants to do the business out of 30. You might get 10 that wants to do the business out of 30. Will 1 out of 5 of those people do it in a large, in a big fashion? No. Okay, sometimes it's 2. Sometimes it's none. Sometimes you have to get, 6 or 8 or 10 people to find that 1, maybe 20 people. Okay, let me tell you what my superpower is. I didn't quit. I kept doing it long enough until I found the people I was looking for. And I'm here to tell you that that had nothing to do with my skill set, my presentation skills, the techniques I was using, other than I was smart enough to learn the concepts, the principles, the core values, and then stay with it long enough. Now, I want to end on this last little bit here. I spend the majority of my time talking about the things that build the business, because that's why you came here. And I'm hoping this has been helpful. But the reality is, the most important things aren't how we build our business. The most important things are all related to why we build our business. It's called the you factor, the me factor. And I shared a couple of things with you last week, and I encourage you to go back and review that last week's training. But the most important concept that I want to share today is this real simple one. Okay, everybody wants something more than what they've got. Okay, you're not here today because you're in perfect health, perfect body weight. You're here because you're looking for a way to improve that, or at least looking for a way to maintain that, through, the balance of your life. Okay, you're not engaged in this kind of business because you make all the money that you could ever want in the world. Okay, and even if you're making all the money you want in the world, you maybe came here because you want more time freedom. And even if you got both of those, you want more fun. There's a clue to who to look for. Okay, look for people that are dissatisfied with their level of income, their level of time freedom, their level of fun, meaning, purpose in what it is they do. Dissatisfied people are who we look for. And honestly, as long as I've been around, I've never met a single person that was 100% completely satisfied with their level of income and their time freedom and the amount of fun and meaning they had in their life. Okay, if you find that person, take a picture of them. I'd like to see who that person is. Everybody's dissatisfied at one level or another. What we're looking for are the dissatisfied people who are willing to do something different to change that. And there's where you see the difference in the world, the 80-20 rule. Okay, now, today, if you're here because you're looking for more income or more time freedom or more meaning or fun in what you're doing, let me tell you what we're just in February right now, so we're just barely beginning the year. Let me tell you what the rest of 2020 is going to look like for you. It's going to look just like 2019, unless you change, unless you do something different. If you're looking to improve your health and wellness, you know, lose weight, whatever, let me tell you what the rest of this year is going to look like. It's going to look just like last year, unless you do something different than last year. Here's the key phrase that you need to put in your notes. For things to change, you have to change. Okay? For things to change, you need to change. It's not about, you know, the great products. And yes, they're great products. Okay? But what has to change? You have to be committed to using them on a regular basis. You know, I've had people using our Zija products and nothing has changed for them. And you find out, well, that's because they drink their super mix mixed with diet soda. Well, you know, I can't tell you you're going to get much benefit out of that. I can tell you, stop drinking diet soda. You know, it's just making you fat and making you old. For things to change, you have to change. You're the critical ingredient. For things to get better, you have to get better. You can't wait around for the economy, the election. Oh, everything's going to be better with the election. We're going to get a new president. Or everything's going to be better. We're going to get the same president. Folks, none of that makes any difference. The only thing that makes a difference in creating your world is you. Now, Jim Rohn has said this. You know, I mean, this is a quote from Jim Rohn. You can have more because you can become more. And that's the great promise. You have what you have today because of what you've been doing and who you've become. All right. You know, I look at my life, you know, in my, you know, late 20s and in my late 20s, early 30s, you know, I was a probation officer. Okay. And at that point in time, while I loved that career, it didn't make me much money. I transitioned to driving trucks. Made more money driving trucks. And then I got good enough that I was trusted with the trucks to where I would actually run a sleeper team run by myself. 2 guys were supposed to be in the truck, keeping it running around the clock. I just did that one by myself. Okay. And I made even more money. All right. I kept making more money, not because they paid me more money, because I got better. I transitioned from one career to another career that made more money. I focused on finding a way within that career to double my efforts, and I made more money. Now, the problem was each one of those careers was a job. There was no leverage. There was no ability to multiply and duplicate my efforts. Other than the trucking job, I was able to double my income because I did 2 drivers worth of work instead of 1. Now, in our profession, we've got this incredible leverage that comes from building a network of distributors that we partner with. And because we exchange our time and our energy and our support and our knowledge to build them up, we get a little percentage of that. But Jim Rohn said it this way: you can have more because you can become more. The you factor is the critical ingredient. And so I'm going to give you a couple of tips, and then I'll open up for questions and answers if we have them. Okay. This was something that was shared with me a long time ago, back in my very first company. The first place to start to get better, of course, is with you. Don't wait for circumstances to change. Circumstances are going to change, but they may not change for the better. All right. You're going to have to become more so you can deal with those circumstances. You know, when I was single, it was a lot easier to build a business. When I had children, it became a little bit more difficult, but I got better at it. You know, when, you know, a few years ago when we started dealing with these dementia issues with Mom, it became incredibly difficult to build a business. I just got better at it. Okay. You are the only factor that can be controlled. So write this in your notes. Let's make this your homework for this week. Okay. 2 things. I want you to start out with 2 things you know you need to start doing. What are those two things? Might be scheduling your day the night before. Might be committing to 30 minutes a day of reading something that will improve your personal development or your skill sets development. Might be committing to daily, on different days, checking out, Pat's conference, video conference on Wednesday. My, Biz Talks presentation on Thursday. Think of two things. How about this one? Talking to one person a day about the product. Look at your schedule. Look at this last week. How many of those days did you talk to one new person about your product? Because that is going to give you a 100% correlation, one-to-one correlation to how many customers you had the potential of getting last week. So start out this way. Pick two things that you should start doing. Now, number two, pick two things you should stop doing. Now, what are those things? Well, maybe it's mixing your isogenics isolene shake with 2 scoops of ice cream. You shouldn't be doing that because that's not going to help you lose weight. Okay, it's not okay to and somebody's thinking, well, okay, well, I don't use ice cream, I use scotch. Don't mix them with scotch. Okay, it's not going to help you lose weight. Stick with the program. Pick two things you need to stop doing. Here's one: staying up a half hour later to watch the news, or I was about to say Johnny Carson, but I guess Johnny Carson's not on anymore. I don't even know who's on anymore because I don't watch that much TV. Cutting your TV short a half hour, an hour in the evening, and getting to bed so you can get up in the morning and start doing 30 minutes of personal development reading. Okay, pick two things that you should stop doing. Here's the last one, and this might be the hardest one for you. Pick two things you're already doing that's advancing your business and start doing more of them. And if you're having a hard time finding those two things that you're doing that's advancing your business, might have a real good idea where the problem is, right? Pick two things you should start doing, two things you should stop doing, and two things that you're doing that you need to continue to do more of. Homework assignment. All right. So hope that was helpful to you folks. We went through quite a bit of stuff. We talked about the importance of developing your story, talked about the concept of marketing systems, and I didn't give you techniques. I gave you concepts. Share the product, share the income opportunity, teach others to do the same. Focus on things that create duplication. Concepts are duplicatable. Techniques are not. Concepts are duplicatable by the masses, by the everybody's of the world. Techniques are only work for a certain percentage of people, and it's not duplicatable by the masses. And then the U factor, for things to change, you got to change. When's the right time to change? Last year. When's the next best time to change? Right now. So let's see here. I'm going to open up this chat box. And folks, if you have a question, this is your time. All right. This is the time I've allotted to be with you. Let's see. Well, thank you, Gail. I appreciate that. And now I post these trainings on my YouTube channel right now. Here in a little bit, it's time to go back and be with Mom and get back into our regular routine. And so it'll probably be a couple hours before I get around to doing, but I always get it done, sometime during Saturday, certainly before I go to bed at night. Oh, something else I want to mention. I was interviewed by Pat Anderson last Wednesday. Woohoo! I made the big time. Pat Anderson interviewed me, and I actually watched that interview. I actually watch a lot of what I do because I try to get a little bit better each time myself, right? And in spite of myself, there were actually several really good things that were shared during that time, and I would strongly encourage you to go and watch that. If you didn't watch Pat, first of all, if you're not watching Pat's presentations on Wednesday evening, there's one of those things you need to start doing, okay? Sometimes it's on product, sometimes it's on business building, sometimes it's on, you know, what it takes to become a successful network marketer. I encourage you to go and watch that particular presentation. If you're looking for stories, the Thursday night Biz Talks, I've got great stories on there. People, last Thursday, we had two professionals. You know, one was Dr. Noreen Ziegler sharing her story. That's a powerful story. Dr. Ziegler was able to take two professional practices, and from her part-time ZJ income, eventually it increased to the point where she was able to help her husband take early retirement, because they didn't need the extra money he would have gotten if he'd stayed in his position for another 5 years. They started building their, you know, their dream retirement home on a lake. It's beautiful in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And then it got to the point in time where ZJ Business was making them so much money that she really didn't need to continue her two practices. It was kind of getting in the way of what they really wanted to do, which was be at their dream vacation. They retired like 10, 15 years earlier than their optimal plan, and it was because of ZJ. And the neat thing about this, folks, it's inevitable. All right. Will it happen overnight for the average person? No, it didn't happen overnight for me in network marketing. And even in ZJ, it didn't happen overnight. But what is inevitable, it's just like going to the gym. You know, will everybody look like, you know, the star model or Arnold Schwarzenegger? No. But I guarantee you, if you go to the gym, you're doing it consistently over a long period of time, doing correct activities, you're gonna look better, right? You're gonna look better. Let's see what we got here. And I'll go ahead and wrap this up. Let's see. Thank you, Lorene. Lorene posted Club Moringa. You'll be able to get that at clubmoringa.com. You'll be able to get access to those videos. And looks like we don't have any. Thank you, Diana. That's sweet of you to say. And it's not a requirement that you say nice things about what I've shared, but it helps. So, well, it looks like we can put a cap on it for today, folks. We are looking a little bit of information I've been able to gather. Looks like we will have, right now we have the basic weight loss package from Isagenix in our product catalog in our back office. They're shooting really, really hard to get a 100% plant-based package in our back office, maybe in a week. Okay, so that's pretty exciting. For those of you that, you know, can't wait, and I suggest you don't wait, good suggestion. All right, if you have certain people or yourself, you can't do whey-based products, use as a substitute your our ZJ meal replacement, because they're plant-based. And we should have the Isagenix one. Hopefully, they're trying to make sure that we can get it into our warehouse and get it all squared away within a week. ISA Challenge. Join the ISA Challenge, folks. This is part of their marketing system, if you will, marketing system in the sense of overall the plan they have for creating good customer retention and so on. Be part of the challenge. I started the challenge. Okay, I still have to register. I started the challenge, got my before and after pictures, and honestly, even though the before pictures are before, compared to what I used to look like, I'm looking good. I mean, let me tell you, I'm looking good. But, you know, take your measurements, get your before pictures, get registered, order your package, do that all before the first of the month. Be part of the process, okay? Let's all do this together. I'll share my results with you. You share your results with me. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to help a lot of people, and we're going to make a lot of money while we're doing it. Is that a beautiful thing or what? All right, I think we're good for now. Tune in to Pat on Wednesday, clubmoringa.com, 9:30 Eastern. You'll see her Health Talks with Pat Thursday evening. For the Biz Talks presentation, that's www.fredholmes.com/webinar. That'll get you into that program. We'll be right back here next Saturday morning. New distributor training. I'll be here. you be here too. All right. Hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun. Hope you learned something. I try to learn something every day. All right. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for joining us.